The best way to get faster is to correctly if you expect to see serious results. When performing speed work, it's essential to focus on proper form and technique. For most athletes, that means taking a step back to take several steps forward. If you are serious about improving your speed, focus on perfection. Once the central nervous system becomes fatigued, workouts quickly lose their effectiveness. Any type of speed work must be done with full recovery. Sprinting is a highly technical activity, and without full recovery, both your muscles and your central nervous system will quickly begin to fatigue, reducing the To optimize your success, full recovery must be adhered to both in your individual workouts as well as your weekly plan. It takes 36 to 48 hours from a speed on the same body part 2 days in a row. You should not perform speed work 2 days in a row. The bottom line with speed training is that we are trying to move our body from point A to point B in the shortest amount of time, learning proper running mechanics from the start to your true speed potential. And that no matter what, you're not allowed to break it. This is a good way of thinking about how loose your hand should be at all times when running. It's also critical that you keep your upper body, including your face, relaxed no matter how hard you're trying. Once an athlete tightens up, they lose their range of motion, and it's very difficult to get it back without burning a lot of energy. Keep your palms in at all times. One of the main goals when running is to avoid wasted motion, because then you're burning much needed energy. When running, it's important to get full range of motion with the arms and maintain proper arm angles. Your front arm angle should be between 60 and 90 degrees at the elbow, and your back arm should be between power output. Many young athletes make the mistake of crossing their arms across their body when they run. When you move your arms laterally, across that midline of your body, you rotate your hips, which basically burns much needed energy and makes you run slower and get tired faster. You compete like you practice, so if you don't correct technical issues in practice, you can't expect them to be fixed in competition, in all aspects of your speed work. There are important cues to remember as it pertains to running by bringing the heel up over the knee. Because most athletes have never been taught how to run with proper form, we begin with the A march in order to reinforce the most basic elements of running mechanics. Start with your hands on your hips and simply march forward, heel up. As the heel clears the knee of the opposite leg, drive the foot down into the ground. Speed is created during acceleration by increasing the amount of force. This is the same drill, but now we are increasing the coordination demand slightly by adding the arm action element to the foot. The heel should not touch the ground before the ball of the foot does. The A skip is a more intense variation of the A march, and 9 out of 10 athletes have extreme difficulty coordinating the movements of the full A skip. As you go through the drill, hop, 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 as the knee comes up, and down. If this is too difficult, the full A skip should only be done when the no-armed version is mastered. Here the pace is faster, and you should be able to control all the... As you can see, this athlete is more comfortable with the drill, and therefore can do it with better form, technique, as well as better speed. The A run is a drill where athletes really have a tendency to kick their foot out past their body as the heel clears the knee. The athlete is only bringing his heel midway up his lower leg. Make sure to keep your weight balanced, not falling back, and focus on keeping the toe. Now the focus is on completing the full range of motion. They're working together to create force. Focus on good arm action and good running technique. This drill, like all the others, takes... The fast leg is an excellent speed development drill. Jog slowly and then one leg at a time, bring the heel up, step over the... Because this is the closest simulation to the range of motion the leg goes through when running, and simulates a similar intensity, it can be difficult for inexperienced athletes. Once athletes learn to properly coordinate the fast leg steps between each alternating repetition. When done correctly, here is a practice workout for the A march and the A skip. Because the goal is to increase power, focus on increasing the number of total repetitions for the 10-meter distance. By focusing on at least 20 repetitions, athletes are forced to drive the foot straight down into the ground as opposed to reaching out with the foot as the heel clears the knee. The volume is kept low because inexperienced athletes have a tendency to lose focus. Focus on quality of work as opposed to quantity, Increase the with the A run, make sure athletes are stepping over the knee and driving straight down. Because they are moving forward, there should be a noticeable cyclic motion with the legs. Oftentimes athletes just bring their legs straight up and straight down. Allow athletes to take their time coordinating this motion so that they do it correctly. Some athletes may only be able to get 3 to 4 repetitions in over 30 meters, where others... There are certain components of speed development that, when addressed in your speed training program, facilitate superior performance. All the training elements of this entire series, ground contact times, are another important factor to consider during acceleration. During the earliest parts of acceleration, especially the first 2 steps, you are trying to overcome the weight of your body by moving it forward as quickly as possible. This takes a great deal of strength and power. Therefore, the acceleration march is a great drill to use just before you begin your speed workout, because it cues several of the components necessary for it to lean against a wall or a fence so that you are at a 45-degree angle. Make sure your feet are behind your hips. Your hips are forward so that your butt isn't sticking out, and your back is flat, not arched. While maintaining a 45-degree angle, and without losing this position, drive your feet down into the... Instead of doing this drill continuously, break it up into a few isolated repetitions. That makes it easier to focus on maintaining good... Most sports don't involve sustaining top speeds, but instead rely on quick bursts over fairly short distances. For inexperienced athletes, staying relaxed while running at full intensity is a difficult task, especially when caught in the excitement of competition. However, success depends on overriding the instructions from your brain to strain and push harder, and instead rely on proven techniques. Watch any elite speed athlete when they run, especially track sprinters, and notice how effortlessly they move. The world's fastest athletes know that staying relaxed, no matter what, is always faster than straining and fighting your way to the finish. Coming out at 45 degrees allows the athlete to get full extension of the ankle, knee, and hip, while setting them up to accelerate in the smoothest possible pattern. The ability to drive out of a starting position at this angle is based on strength. Athletes with low strength to body weight ratios will pop up and become vertical within the first couple of strides. Smooth, consistent, and efficient acceleration requires physical strength and power. Heel recovery occurs after ankle, knee, and hip extension, also called triple extension, when the heel is being recovered from the ground back under the hips in order to step over the knee. To keep the heel low during acceleration, think about running on hot coals and what the range of motion would be like in that situation. Notice how the heels stay low to the ground during the recovery of the first few steps and gradually increases in overall range of motion. During acceleration, aggressively drive the elbows down and back, keeping the hands loose and palms in. Focus on keeping your arm angles at approximately 90 degrees. Many young athletes fail to take advantage of the benefit powerful arm action provides while accelerating up to top speed. If you remember only one thing, and take only one cue from the entire complete speed training series, remember to step over the opposite knee and drive the foot down in the ground to create maximal force. During acceleration, the foot should strike directly below or slightly behind the hips. Many inexperienced athletes, whether from lack of physical strength or due to impatience, have a tendency to reach with that foot, trying to get it to the ground as quickly as possible. This will cause the athlete to become vertical, slowing their rate of acceleration. This athlete, a former Big East and ECAC champion at 100 meters, shows the patience during acceleration that results in athletic success. Reaching occurs when an athlete allows their foot to arc out past the knee when running. An easy way to tell if an athlete is stepping over and driving down versus reaching with their foot is seeing where the foot lands as it touches the ground. If it's directly below the hips, the athlete is in a good power position. As this athlete decelerates, she gives a perfect example of the type of reaching and braking that many inexperienced athletes naturally do when running at full intensity. Notice how very rarely in any sport does an athlete get to take their time, set up, and then accelerate from a convenient standing position. Instead, athletes must accelerate from an infinite array of positions. Therefore, we do a great deal of our acceleration work from various positions, so athletes get used to a more realistic, game-type situation. With all these drills, the goal is to quickly get from their starting position into a good acceleration pattern, following all of the cues and instructions that we have gone over so far in this video. As we know, speed is defined as 2 to 8 seconds of full or near full intensity form of chemical energy used by the muscles in sprinting. ATP stores are limited and will deplete after 1 to 2 seconds at the higher end. It takes 90 seconds of rest to restore 80% of ATP. Instead of bringing the body down to the ground to get into position, like we did in the previous exercises, we use short hills to bring the ground up to the athlete. Whether you have the strength levels to handle it or not, hills are an excellent way to teach athletes to drive down and extend the hips through the ground. Otherwise, athletes will have a difficult time getting up the hill, and mechanical problems become much more profound. So really focus on driving down, getting full extension through the ankles, knees, and hips, and use your arms to help create power. As the athlete accelerates up the hill, notice the amount of force she applies to the ground with each stride. You can clearly see that she consistently applies the cue of step over, drive down, and that allows her to continue to gain speed up the hill. Also, because of the force application, hip extension, and powerful arm action, she maintains forward lean and the body angle that is desired during acceleration. If you can learn to demonstrate this kind of power, efficiency, and consistency in your speed training, you will see remarkable results. Remember, hill work is more intense and therefore more fatiguing than training on a flat surface, so it's important to adjust the volume accordingly. Like anything else, if athletes' times begin to drop off, extend the rest slightly. If that doesn't bring the times back to normal, cut the workout short. Maximum velocity is another way of saying running at top speed. The point that you reach maximum velocity. Fly runs, such as fly 20s, 30s, and 40s, are an ideal way to focus on the aspect of trying to extend the amount of time an athlete can hold top and near top speeds. In this example, the athlete is doing a fly 30. She uses a 15-meter acceleration zone to build speed. From that point, she focuses on maintaining a hard sprint for the 30-meter fly and trying to learn how to increase her ability to maintain her top speed. When designing workouts, start with a short fly zone, such as 15 to 20 meters. The most important aspect of extended sprints is learning how to maintain near top speeds through effective relaxation. Since all athletes can only hold top speed for a brief spurt, it's the athlete who learns to decelerate the slowest that will outrun or chase down their competition. Sprint float sprints help teach this idea of relaxation, though most athletes have an extremely difficult time learning the concept and slow down considerably during the float phase of this exercise. When done correctly, testing shows that athletes actually increase their speed during the float. These are good distances to start at while athletes learn the drill. From here you can extend each phase as technique becomes perfected. Accelerate normally like you would in any of your regular acceleration drills or exercises. focus on stepping over and driving down in order to set yourself up for higher top speeds. As you reach the first cone, you should just be getting to full speed. Sprint hard, maintaining good form with powerful arm action and leg drive. At the second cone, stop trying to get faster and maintain the speed you've already created. Let the ground come to you. At the third cone, get back to full intensity, trying to re-accelerate and power through. As you reach the final cone, decelerate slowly. Don't pound to a stop, because this puts great stress on your muscles and can very easily cause an injury. These workouts are as mentally demanding as they are physically demanding, because floating is such a new and difficult. The purpose of a speed endurance workout is to accumulate lactic acid in the leg. Run short distances at full or near full speed with short recoveries. Another way to set up speed endurance workout is to run longer distances at full or near full.